Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hazeeq, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Polkadex. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. In this video, I'm going to give you some nice support and nice resistance levels for Polkadex. If that's something that you're interested in, then feel free to watch the video till the end. Also, I do want to mention the two donation links down below in the description. Feel free to support the Ukrainian refugees and Ukraine's military by donating on the official websites that I have linked down below. So let's jump into the chart. We are on the daily chart here. As you can see, we are in a falling wedge pattern. And this is the daily chart from KuCoin on TradingView. And as you can see, we have dipped below the support here just a little bit. So if you don't like that, you can absolutely change the direction of your falling wedge. But I like to keep it to the first two touches, right? And this is just a little fake out over here. And as you can see, each time you do go up to the resistance of the falling wedge, you end up getting rejected back to the downside. So you had one here, you had this large wick, which was a retest of the previous support that we held on the larger falling wedge. Then you have another retracement here, another rejection over here. And you do notice that you have the 20 EMA here as well. So the 20 EMA is getting us rejected as well, which in a downtrend is very typical. You have the 20 EMA and the price action usually gets rejected down by the 20 EMA, and it's suppressing the price lower and lower and lower. So there is a 75% chance that we have a break to the upside here for Polkadex, because on these bullish patterns, bullish reversal patterns for falling wedges, 75% to the upside, 25% to the downside. Now, if you take a look at this falling wedge over here, and I do think that it should be, yep, there we go. Now I did fix it a little bit better. There we go. So as you can see, you had a falling wedge here as well. It's just a bigger one, and you did end up breaking to the downside. And now you're in a smaller one, and you can break to the downside all the same, right? And you can come out and come all the way down here to our second fib level, which I gave you multiple weeks ago on the channel. And I did give you this target as well, $1.93 on the channel a very long time ago. And this is our next target, because we could potentially see a capitulation all the way down to $1 for Polkadex if Bitcoin is going to drop lower. And I'm targeting $16,800 for Bitcoin, because that's the 1.618 target that we have for Bitcoin at the moment. And usually you do retrace to the 1.618. And in case of a capitulation, you could wick all the way down to the second fib level and have a very strong recovery afterwards to the 1.618, okay? So this is something that I'm looking at for Polkadex. You could potentially set up some buy limit orders throughout this dip. So if you have a wick to the downside, you get all of that filled and you move to the upside. And I mean, honestly, these are great prices for Polkadex. I'm staking my Polkadex tokens in the Nova wallet. If you want to know how to do that, then there is going to be a link in the top right hand corner of the video. So you have a couple of support levels here. Down, actually you have one that I just gave you. And if you take a look at the falling wedge, you do have your second support level, which is going to be the support of the falling wedge, because almost every time you run into this resistance, you start coming back down to the yellow trend line. So potentially right now, we had a wick to the 20 EMA to the resistance of the pattern. So now you can come back all the way down here, all the way to $1.53 potentially in the next couple of days, and bounce from there, start coming up, and you can potentially start breaking out of this pattern. Now, the target from this pattern would be where the pattern was created, which is going to be over here. And let me give you the price, $2.43. And that is something that you should keep an eye on, because as you can see, Polkadex does have these large wicks sometimes. So potentially you could start breaking out, let's say, and you can end up going all the way up to this white trend line, backtest that as resistance, but you can have a long wick all the way to the target of the pattern, and then you come back down below and you land on the next support level that you're going to have. But yeah, the white trend line here is something that you want to target as well. which is, well, I can't give you the exact price because it depends on when you are going to be breaking out and when you're going to be approaching the trend line. But I would say somewhere in around from $1.99 to $2.10. That would be a great swing trade opportunity for Polkadex holders. Because as you can see, once you lose a support, which is a major support that you've touched multiple times here, you end up breaking down and you come back to back test it as resistance, and then you come back even lower, right? Or you potentially come back and print a double bottom pattern, which is a good reversal bullish pattern, and that's usually what you see before trend reversals. So yes, you have this white trend line, you have the target of the falling wedge at $2.43. From where we are right now, that is a potential 42% trade. Personally, I am holding Polkadex for the very long term, and I will only start taking some profits potentially at $50 if we get there this year. But, major targets are from $100 and above, because Polkadex is that good of a project. Now, potentially, let's say we did capitulate here at $1. Okay, so once we print our bottom of the bear market, we will be able to drop down the fib levels, and from there, we are going to set new targets to the upside. So let's say this is our low at $1 here. And this is our previous high over here at $27. So that's exactly where I set up my fib. Okay, there we go. So you have the levels on the right side. You're going to have the golden ratio at $7.77, which is going to be a very important level for us to break. But long term, we're going to be looking at 1.618 here. But for that, obviously, we're going to need to break our swing high at $27 over here, $27.65. And from there, we can start targeting $215.50. And the circulating supply of Polkadex isn't that high, so it's not going to be very hard to push the price to its limits. So the 1.618 at $215 is going to be a great sell for me, right? And you can potentially sell all the way through this move to the upside here, and not wait for the absolute blow off top, because you're never going to catch it. Obviously, you have the second fib level here at $796 or $766, but that is a bit too much for me, and I'm not an ultra bull myself. I just use technical analysis to see what our potential future targets could be. But again, this is only if we bottom out here at $2. Let's say this was our bottom right now. Let's say we did just bottom here at the end of June at $1.42. Then our 1.618 is going to be at $173. And in this case, this is a more conservative case. Let's see what this would entail in terms of the percentage gain. So this is going to be a 10,000% gain for Polkadex holders, right? If you're going to hold throughout this dip. And trust me, if I see the bull market starting, and once we are going to start getting a bit overextended on Bitcoin, I'm going to unstake my coins before we enter the fork stage, right? So as soon as I see the markets flipping super bullish, I'm going to unstake my tokens. That's going to take 28 days to unstake, so that if we do get to our targets here, I'm going to be able to take profits. And once we have the next dip, I'm going to buy back in the exact same amount of coins that I sold, but only for much, much cheaper prices. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. If I missed out anything on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know what are your targets for Polkadex. This is a super long-term project for me, and a super long-term hold for me as well. And yeah, obviously you do have these trend lines here. I did give you the support of we have a support trend line above and a support trend line below here. So if we do end up coming back down, then target these levels as well. These are good entries. And yeah, just copy this to your RSI. Other than that, feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join my Patreon. I do post technical analysis in there, and I do post low cap jump calls. You get your TA requests, video requests, project reviews, market sentiment analysis, my trade alerts. All of that is going to be in a daily on a daily basis in the Patreon. So feel free to join in. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.